Hey guys. So I just finished eating, and I noticed today at work it was this very simple test, and it did well. So I've lost a little bit of weight, and it was a test of the table test. So basically, it's a stationary table, most likely of a booth. The seats, because they're big seats, not just individual seats. They don't move. The table doesn't move. So when I remember when I first got there at the beginning of the month, uh, I sat down at the table and my stomach was like pressing into the table to the point where it hurt, and I had to like sit this way. I had to like eat this way because I had to keep my stomach outward and my legs outward. Um, my legs outward anyway because they're small booths, small tables, and I'm 6'4". I can't sit there like this. So I had to stretch my legs out anyway. But today I went in there because I finished up and I went in there. I was going to take a break. I sat down. I just kind of slid in. My stomach is like barely grazing the end of the table. I'm like, I lost weight. Because like I said before I was sitting at the table and like the side of the table was like pushing into my stomach, where my stomach was pushing into. So without even having sucked my stomach in, I just slid in and so here's the table, here's my stomach. So I didn't have to suck it in like I normally had to, or sit like this, with my feet out. I was able to just sit at the table. So, I mean, it was only a few pounds because, like I said, my stomach is still touching the end of the table, but the fact that I can sit in the booth now and not have my stomach pushing into it, I mean, I probably only lost like 3-4 pounds, maybe 5. But I mean, the smallest weight makes the biggest difference. I mean, compared to when I first got back, I was freaking dripping sweat all the time. Like, I'd start working, and within a few minutes, just my face was completely sweaty and dripping sweat. My fucking glasses are getting wet. I'm like, my freaking shirt would be drenched. And now it's just a normal day. I mean, I was working my ass off today. I went to the marathon station, got something to eat, got some breakfast pizza. That shit's so fucking good. Beats the hell out of fucking breakfast burritos any day. But I sat there and ate my breakfast, and then I walked over to work, went to the bathroom and did my business. Came out, my boss was out there on her phone. It was like, I don't know, 9. So she was like, oh, well, you can just, go wait in the, break area or something. Like, or how about I can just clock in? You just let me off early? So I got off at 1:30 today, but bus Scusa doesn't pick me up until freaking 3. So I clocked in, did my normal stuff, got the stuff for the storage room, went around and collected all the stuff I needed to, like the carpet, plastic, stuff like that. And then I was at the Baler all day. So I was taking my time. I had to bale the plastic, and the baler's not really working properly. Like, when I worked there before, like a couple years ago, if I did plastic, I was able to get, I don't know, 7, 8, maybe 10 boxes of plastic in there before I had to, crush it down and leave it crushed. But now it's like, after 3 or 4, not only do I have to crush it down, when the bale comes back up, I have to do like 1 box at a time because I can only fit like 1 box in after that. The baler's messed up. They fixed part of it. At first, it was going down slower, so they had to fix the hydraulics. Now it's, pressing down faster, but it's not going as far as it could. And I showed my boss, and she's like, yeah, it's, when you fill to the point, it can only go down so far because, you have this solid object for the most part in the way. But after 3, 4 boxes of plastic, it should be going to the, depth it should be, not stopping halfway. So I'm like, you see what I'm talking about? It shouldn't be doing that. So she put in a work order. Hopefully it gets done, but the plastic, I took my time. I'm like, well, the baler is going, can't do nearly as much, so I'm just taking my time. She was expecting me to do all of it. There's like 20 something boxes. I don't know how much I did. When I was done, there was only about 8 left. I told her, I'm like, yeah, I get that, but with the baler the way it is right now, I don't want to risk it. Normally when I do huge bales of plastic, a freaking wire gets stuck, and then as the bale's coming out, it snags, and then I've got to try to lift the bale back into the baler, try to figure out which one of the wires is snagged, and then I've got to try to freaking flip it over to where I can untie it, and then the bale will come out. I'm like, I'm not doing that shit. I'm not fucking doing it. Every single time I make a big bale, that's what happens. And sometimes 2 wires get snagged. And then you got to have the forklift driver come over, hopefully, and try to, kind of pull it out. But the forklift drivers weren't down there. So if something happened, it's like, okay, well, do I just wait here? I could have gotten my boss and had her help, but a lot of the time she's not even in her office. So I didn't want to take the chance of just wandering around the factory for no damn reason. So I was just like, let me just make a smaller bale. She complained about it, but I'm like, I don't care, okay? The baler's not working correctly. I'm not making a huge bale and having the risk of something happening. Because every time I take a risk at something happens. So, but I did that, and then I got that out, and then I did cardboard. They started cutting tubes down there today, but I think they're throwing them out. Actually, I think I was sitting there and I saw the garbage guy, so I don't know if he was coming for compactor but normally the tubes that we've been baling get thrown out, but so many of them that it fills up the dumpsters too quickly, so we end up having to bale them. But the guy who was down there, and he was cutting for like an hour, and he didn't even do 1 box. It's like the box is only up this tall, about that tall, and maybe that wide. So about this tall and that wide, and you're filling them with tubes that you're cutting yourself, and you can make them, smaller. You can keep them in, larger cuts. But he didn't even do 1 box. My boss was like, yeah, before you leave, go over there and bring any boxes over. So on Friday, that they'll already be over. And then I saw her. I'm like, there's nothing over there. There's 1 box, and it wasn't even filled all the way. She's like, well, they said something about throwing them out. I'm like, then maybe we won't even have to do those on Friday then. I mean, it's the baler I've been trained on, not the one I was working on today. That one, I call it my baler because I was working in that for a year. But the baler, the horizontal baler, she's been training me on that, but we've only worked on it twice. I've only worked on that thing. I mean, it's not a hard job. It's just more multitasking. You load up the tubes, you put them on lift it up. You have a lift, just lift. It dumps them onto the conveyor belt. Activate the conveyor belt. Have them go into pretty much the main dump area where they gather, and then just have it crushed. You can't put too much in there, otherwise they'll pack together and they'll jam, and then you're gonna have to open the door for it, lean in and try to fucking unlodge them. So it's best to just few at a time, and yeah, it's just more multitasking. The other one, I just like, you put the pallet in front of you. If it's like cardboard, you bring it in front of you, fold, put in, fold, put in, fold, put in. So it's just that, you're just twisting. The other one, you're climbing up a little ladder or step stool type thing, dumping tubes in, going back over, putting some more on the conveyor, getting the conveyor belt to let more in, going down and checking, seeing how much is in there, going back, letting some more up, stopping it to come, push the compactor in there, and then you gotta, once the boxes are empty, you gotta move the boxes and put more boxes onto the lift. It's just multitasking. It's not a hard job. And it's more of it, it's easy because the factory doesn't expect you to do a lot. I mean, the last guy's name was Richard, and he only did about 3 bales a day, mainly because he took his time. I'm like, every hour he was taking a break. When I was there, he was like, he'd get there 10 o'clock, and by 10:30 or so, he's like, I'm on for a smoke break. I'm like, you just got here. He's like, I know, I'm going out for a smoke break. And then another hour later, for another smoke break. So it's one of those ones that, because it's only one object, is tubes, they don't care so much about how much you get done. Unlike the other baler where you have the cardboard and the luchador and the carpet and the plastic and the lab and yarn. So there's multiple things in the factory that are considerably more important than fucking tubes. So, but we've only done the other one twice. Actually, maybe 3 times. Wait. When I first got back, like at the beginning of the month, then I think we just did it again not too long ago. Pretty sure it was only twice. So I might have tubes to do on Friday. I may not. I mean, considering when he started cutting, it was already almost the end of his shift anyway. So by the time he started cutting, it was like 1 o'clock, and he hadn't even done 1 full box yet. So I'm thinking, we're most likely not even going to have anything on Friday to do, tube-wise. So storage is pretty stocked for the most part now, because I just got the stuff today. Tomorrow I'm off. I don't think they'll be cutting anything tomorrow. And if they are cutting, I think they're just going to be throwing them away, because like I said, I think the garbage came today. I was sitting out there waiting for my, for the bus to show up, and I saw the garbage truck. I mean, there's only so many places to, have a dump, for a garbage truck. So I think they dumped out tubes and whatever else. So most likely they'll just throw them in the garbage, which is really stupid. They have small dumpsters. I'm like, why don't you guys get back the freaking the huge container, house size, lengthwise, just a huge container the size of a freaking truck, a big rig. It's a little taller than me, so about 6-7 feet tall, and about the length of a big rig. And I'm like, they could just throw fucking tubes in there for days and only have to dump it once a month at most. It could be once every 2 months. But then she said that would just be too expensive, because I guess for that they consider the weight involved. So if you're going to dump something that heavy, it's going to cost more money. So I'm like, well, what do I know? I'm just trying to make some innovations here to make it easier for everyone. But yeah, so I'll probably go on Friday and just do my normal stuff, getting the garbage, carpet, plastic, and then I'll probably go down the normal baler, because there probably won't be any tubes. So hopefully the place isn't open like it was on last Friday. Normally Fridays no one's there, apart from the higher ups and us. So basically, my boss, my roommate, and me, and then the higher ups. Something about having to do with microchips for the machines or something, not having enough. I don't know. I've never worked with a machine, so I wouldn't know. But yeah, usually Fridays it's pretty dead in there. That's why I know that if tubes don't get done tomorrow, if it's dead on Friday, tubes aren't getting done then either. So I may not have to do tubes till possibly next Wednesday. I think sometimes they go in on Saturdays, but that's rare. They went in the other last Saturday because they painted. I went down to my area and one of the sections was painted, and I'm like, what's the point? What's the point? These forklift drivers are running over the new paint with freaking forklifts, and they're pushing boxes on pallets, skidding across the freaking floor. What's the point of painting? It's going to be chipped and smeared and everything by the end of the day. Even if it's completely dry, it's going to start chipping already. It's going to leave scuff marks. What's the point? But whatever. You guys are probably like, wow, John, that's so fucking fascinating. Tell us more about how boring your job is. I mean, it must not be that boring. 16 minutes already, and I've just been talking, and I'm talking about different shit, or just about the day and what goes on. So, can't be, well, maybe it's boring. It does sound boring. I'm putting myself to sleep right now. So, is that popcorn? I don't know. It smells like popcorn, but she could just be cooking something in there. In the end of the day, everything smells like popcorn. Also, finally got it. That was for proof of residency, proof of address. So they verified my bank account, they verified my address, so now I have to wait till whenever to get paid. So, I mean, it's great that I'll start finally getting the money I've earned. It only took how many months? Oh, wait, let's see. I partnered in what? August 9th or something? Something like that. So it's taken this long just to get everything set. So, but yeah, I thought you guys would be happy to see that I'm finally able to get it rather than just having it sit there. But yeah, it's fucking hot. No matter where I was at work, I'm like, okay, it's fucking hot. I went in this morning to get the breakfast pizza, and I was going to sit outside, and I was going to sit out there for 3 hours, but I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. Fuck this. It's too fucking hot out right now. So I'm like, let me just go there and go to the bathroom and come out, and maybe someone will be walking in at the door, and I'll just kind of go in with them. But no, luckily enough, I went outside, and my boss is standing right there. I'm like, so fortuitous, really. I mean, I was in the bathroom, and I like to get out as soon as possible in those bathrooms, because even in the offices, those bathrooms are fucking hot. Like, it's great you don't have the sun blaring down on you, but they don't have AC on. And if it does come on, you can barely feel it. I'm like, why up here? Why is there no fucking air conditioning? Why is it so fucking hot? And it's a toilet is like really low to the ground, and that sucks for someone tall like me. Story of my life. Anyways, I'm sure you guys are bored hearing me ramble on about my boring ass fucking life at work. So I'll just leave that right there. Anyways, that's gonna do it for me. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.